Hi, so before we get into the video, this is going to be a little tack on because I realized after I had finished everything with the video and I was getting ready to upload it and I double checked the source video, the original video, I realized nowhere in their description and their anything like that did they actually say they were upcycling. The way they phrased it made it sound like they were using the water bottle, so I don't know if the assumption, but somehow I got it up in here in my head that this was actually an upcycle video. So a large part of this video is not prevalent just because I was judging it as an upcycling video. That all said, after having watched the video, it is a beautiful piece of artwork they did. I do hold on some of my comments that they did it more complicated than it really should have been. So you did need to do the undercoat with the paper mache because that helped, for one thing, keep it flat and smooth. But that sculpting part at the end where they actually cut out, I think that was a lot harder than it should have been. I think it would have been easier just to mold those opening spaces in as they were doing that clay. That being said, it was a good video. It's a beautiful finished piece of product. Just a lot of waste. So if you're going to be throwing something away, that's the type of thing that, okay, instead of just throwing it away, you could repurpose it again and reuse it one last time before it has to be thrown away. But if you do it that way, just be aware you're not upcycling. You're just reusing something before it gets thrown away. So that all said, I enjoyed the video. I hope you do too. So let's get to it. Hi, and welcome to my channel. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed the new intro. Yay. I know it's only my second video, but it's nice to have that. And so I would like to welcome you all. I hope you're having a wonderful day. So please like, subscribe. I know you want to. And also feel free to visit my Etsy store. I would love it if you did. And I've now also started a Redbubble shop. So I will have that new link in the description. And as always, I also sell some stuff on Amazon, mostly books. So if you could buy that stuff, I'd appreciate that as well. Or at just very least, go look, okay? All right. So today's video, we are going to be reacting to an upcycling video. This is by Cootie Bori. I've seen a couple of their works before. I'm not sure if it's a male or female, they don't say. And I've always enjoyed watching how someone can take trash and turn it into art or something useful. I've done a couple myself. I have a couple of little things that I gave to my mom that were originally garbage that I've created. It takes some time depending on what you're doing. So it's always amazing to see these. So I am going to be interested in seeing if they show the time lapse or if it's the Instacam YouTube magic where it's just bam, it's done. So today's video, they're going to be turning a soda bottle, so just a regular pop bottle, into a lamp, a candle handle land type of lamp, and also a flower vase is what it says in the description. So let's get to it. That's pretty. Okay, that was supposed to be a soda bottle? So yeah, standard Coke size. Remove the label. Okay. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. So I'm taking a guess here, and I think they'll probably be doing some type of either a paper mache or maybe clay or something around the outside rather than actually using the soda bottle. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be where they actually turn that soda bottle into that lamp. It doesn't look like it now that I'm seeing the shape with the balloon, but maybe. We'll see. Getting back to it. Okay, so taping it completely. Got some cardboard. Okay, funnel. Okay, so there's the base. Okay, so they are doing a paper mache. Okay, they've done a couple steps here that I'm like, you can tell they're probably winging this video. So like removing the stopper, the cap holder part at the top, I would have done that before I even taped it to the balloon. That would have been the first thing, one of the first things to come off. They probably decided that later as they were doing it and like, oh, I need to get rid of this. So, but yeah, this is looking like a paper mache. So you got your glue, you got your newspaper. It's going to be paper mache. Okay, so they don't show how long this takes. So depending on how thick you make your paper mache, that can take up to 24 hours to dry. That also does, of course, depend on your humidity. If it's not so humid, then yeah, it'll be done really, really quick. If you're in an area where, like I live, where we get really high humidity, it could take a couple of days for it to fully dry. So the cement that they've made, I don't really see how this is upscaling exactly. There's better alternatives to what they're using. Now, if you have a little bit of this left over, then yeah, use up what you got. Don't waste it. But if you're going out to go buy a brand new bag and you're only using a cup or two, that's not upscale or that's not upcycling. I keep saying upscaling, upcycling. That I'm not so sure about. So, um, plus there's other things you can do if you don't want to do that. If you got nice clay outside, go use clay. That would be great if you could make it fine. You know, you don't want just dirt, you don't want just mud. You do need an actual clay. So clay is a very dense type of sand. You would look at it and you say, "Oh, that's just mud." But it is so much denser than just regular mud. So if you try and go get your garden soil, for example, especially if you just gotten some fresh stuff from the bag, it's not going to do what you want to versus what actual real clay is. That's why clay is actually one of the things that is mined. There are mines for clay. Some people are lucky enough to just go outside and buy it or just, outside and find it. Where I live, we have what's called Zamora clay, and it's everywhere. But the problem with this type of clay is that once it loses the water, it shrinks And so we get major cracks in our ground where, I mean, you're talking a foot across and 5 feet deep. Watch your ankle on those. You don't want to fall. So our clay up here isn't suited for this type of thing or pottery, but maybe you're lucky. Maybe you live next to a creek where it forms naturally. Um, Alternative to that, you could always buy clay. Again, that's not really upcycling. You could also make a paper, sorry, you could make a paper clay. So that would be where you take any old shredding. So if you have mail that you shred instead of throwing it away, or you have old documents that you shred, you would take that up, you'd ground that up, pulverize that, and then that will actually become an air type of clay. You add some water, a little bit of salt. So it's a little more refined than this paper mache that they did with just the strips of newspaper. So that's also an option. With that, you would sculpt it, mold it, let it air dry. The problem with that is, again, it is paper, so you don't want to get it wet. You don't want it in a place with high humidity without any type of protection. Um, let's see what other type of alternatives. Plaster of Paris. That could actually maybe work on this where you keep it drier than you would normally. So, because if you do it as it says to do it, it's very, very runny. So that's probably why they added the that green stuff to the cement, because cement itself can be really, really runny. So those are my 2 cents. If anyone has any other suggestions of what they could substitute for what they're doing with this part, please put it in the comments below. Getting back to it now. Hmm. Okay. So they're using at least what they had left over. Looks like, yep, there's the bottom. Okay. Now smoothing it, trimming it. Okay, there we go, better angle. Okay, adding in texture. Okay, so this part here, I think they're actually doing this maybe the harder way. Um, I think rather than sculpting the whole thing and turning it into a vase style like they did, I think it may have been what might have actually been easier to sculpt in instead of trying to come through and cut through. Because again, now you're wasting. This isn't upcycling anymore. So you're trying to, when you upcycle, you're trying to eliminate as much waste as you can. So, okay, with this, well, maybe you could grind it back down and turn it back into a powder and reuse it. I'm not sure with this composition that they've done if that's possible. If you're using regular clay, then yes, you can. It's a pain in the butt, but you can. Same with plaster of Paris. You can. It's a pain in the butt though, but you can. Um, but yeah, for me personally, if I'd been doing what they're doing, I would have just sculpted instead of trying to come through and cut later. So I'll see what they do for this. So getting back to it. So they're making it deeper. Yeah, they're doing this the hard way. Okay, so with this step, okay, I could understand why they wanted something that wasn't water soluble. So if you're trying to wash out the paper mache, you don't want to be doing this with clay or plaster of Paris. Both of those can be very water soluble, which means that these nice crisp lines that you've got will no longer be nice and crisp. Again, I'm not I'm not really seeing this one as an upcycling. Okay, they've now wasted a balloon. They've wasted the paper mache. They've created waste with the cement that they used. And I don't know how they're going to get that piece of bottle out. So I'm not really seeing how this is an upcycling. This is taking something and you're actually making something totally different. So the garbage that that you were using, you're still throwing away at the end. Upcycling is where you're taking that garbage and you're turning it into something else, whether that's art or something useful. Um, so I'm not liking this so much. But getting back to it. Okay, I see how they're getting the plastic out. Again, this is no longer upcycling. You're now using electricity to remove the plastic, which means it's going to be no good, so you're going to have to throw it away. That's just, no, this is not upcycling at all. Plus, what they're doing is not good for your lungs. So, heating up plastic, if you're not wearing a type, one of those really good filter masks like you see with the big old sides, what they're doing painting, you don't want to be doing this. Heating up plastic, it lets off toxins, which can actually be very damaging to your health. Now, a little exposure like this once or twice in your life won't hurt you, but after doing this 50, 60, 100 times, you're going to hurt yourself. So it's just, I'm not liking this video very much, which is kind of sad because I've liked some of their other stuff before. All right, we'll see how they go. Getting back to it. Okay. Well, I'm very, 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 very disappointed with this one. Um, they've mislabeled this. They've called it upcycling, and it is not an upcycle. So if they had taken that plastic bottle and then turned that piece, so I mean, plastic bottle like this, they turned that into the holder and left it there. So, I'm fine if you want to put, okay, the plaster of Paris or cement or whatever on the outside, but you keep that plastic in there. That's upcycling because this is now your foundation. This is the backbone of your project. What they did, they cut off the top of the plastic bottle and then maybe they recycled it, but either way, it was no longer a part of that piece. So that was not an upcycling. I hope they recycled that bottle, but false advertising on this one. Big time false advertising. I've seen some where they actually make one of my favorite YouTubers is makes miniatures of houses and they use the soda cans and the soda bottles and the plastic from packaging. They use the aluminum foil after they've cooked a dinner. Instead of throwing that away, they use that. They bunch it up and use that. They reuse their plastic wrap from their food containers. And all of that stays in that final piece. That is upcycling. I'll see if I can maybe find one of those videos later and do another reaction video to that because those are so much better than this one. I'm just very, very, very disappointed. Um, Plus, they had to like and subscribe, what, 4, 5 times in that video? Once, maybe twice is enough for a plug. Not that many times. So, disappointed. Okay. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you semi enjoyed the video. Maybe you got some inspiration and you know how, okay, I want to go do this. Great. It's a fantastic art piece. I love the final design, but it was not as advertised. So enjoy, have fun, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.